Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. We're with Bex Maini, and she is from Sussex.
Yes,
Did I pronounce that right?
you did. Yeah, near Brighton.
I'm not English, so I don't know. Sorry. Listening to people talk in a English from my perspective accent for several weeks now, and it's starting to come out. Anyway, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And we are going to talk about mindfulness and balance at this episode. So let's just go right on and talk about describing the biggest obstacle you have ever faced in your photography career. And you talked about COVID in the last episode. So is
Yeah.
there an internal challenge that you had to overcome?
Probably. I mean, I think we all suffer as creatives from imposter syndrome. So I don't want to bore you talking about that because I think we all know about it, and it's something we all struggle with from time to time. Um, I would say that's probably something I'm quite good at pushing past. And I think the thing that helps me with that the most is my photography friends. I'm really lucky that I've got certain people that I can go to if I'm feeling a bit, or if I feel like my work's not very good, or I've messed something up, or if you sometimes you just need a cheerleader. And I'm very lucky that I have a few of those in my life. There's Kirsty Hamilton. I need to mention her. So she's one of my photography besties. She lives in London, so she's about an hour and a bit away from me. Well, probably further, but we always meet in the middle, kind of thing. And I met her on a retreat actually back in 2018, I think it was. And it was only really since the retreat that we really kind of became more friends. The retreat was quite intense. There was a lot of people there. And it was after that we obviously kept in touch. And we've met up so many times. When during COVID, I was struggling to, keep going, I started a photography magazine, as you do. Not like I had enough to do looking after the twins. But I just needed another outlet. And so, yeah, it was something that I'd always kind of wanted to be involved in. And yeah, it just seemed like time to start being a photography editor slash publisher slash designer. It's not photography, magazine editor. And yeah, she was the first person I went to be like, will you help me with this? So she used to be a journalist, so she was the obvious choice for that reason. But also just because we get on so well, we just click and we have a really good time together and we can be honest with each other. And yeah, so she became my deputy editor and she was vital in helping to keep me sane while we were doing this. It's something that's on pause at the moment because it did all get a bit too much when things opened up again and work started getting busier and I moved into branding and got a lot busier. It was just too much to deal with. It had kind of grown to the point where we would need to hire some people, but it wasn't really making enough money to hire the people. It was kind of catch 22.
Yeah.
And I just wasn't ready to invest a lot of money in making it something even bigger when I wasn't really sure how much time I had for it. So, but oh my goodness, we had so much fun. So we did 5 issues and we talked about doing competition and, it still might come back one day, but at the moment it's on pause. Yeah, so I'd say projects help me push through challenges, whether they're personal or creative. Doing my charity projects have helped. And then, yeah, having these photography ladies in my back pocket to be like, hi, feeling a bit rubbish. I need your help. It just helps because they always do. They're always there ready to cheer you on and be like, what rubbish? Come on, sort yourself out. Or we'll meet up. Me and Kirsty have had so many fun days in London where we intend to have meetings and talk about either the magazine or something. And we just end up going taking photos and we'll go to a museum and we'll take photos of each other in the museum and amazing exhibitions, or we'll go and find somewhere colorful and we'll take photos of each other somewhere colorful. And we just have fun. And then we eat lots of food and it's great.
So, how did you get connected to some of these photographers? Was it an online community or was it a camera club? Or how did you find your people that are local?
So the people who are local, so Kirsty and retreat. So the retreat was in England, and I think it was 10 people. And so we all went to this big house. It was run by Claire Barker Wells. So I'd already done mentoring with her. And then I found out she was doing this retreat with Yasmina Cowan, who'd come over from America. And yeah, so just spending that weekend together. I mean, honestly, the experience of retreat, I just can't express enough how much of a difference it made. So we were obviously learning together, we were shooting together, we were then spending all the evening together, eating together, chatting about the things we'd learned, chatting about, all sorts of stuff. And you really do make the most amazing connections. So that's how I met Kirsty. And then, yeah, online, definitely. So Flock community was one. So that was a bit of so exciting. And then COVID kind of ruined that as well. So it was going to be like this amazing, similar to Clickaway, but in the UK, because we didn't have anything like that here, especially for women. And they created that, and I was going to be speaking there. They had asked me early on, which I was so proud of. I'd never spoken before, so to be asked to speak, and so I was obviously going to do a talk about color, because even then I was known for color, which was amazing. And yeah, and then COVID happened. Literally, it all shut down like a week before that conference was due to happen. And then, they sort of struggled to put on something as big again. So it never really happened in the same way. But just their online community is amazing in the Facebook group, chatting to people in there. And they were very supportive when I started the magazine during COVID as well. And that's how we, got a lot of people interested in our community. So running that community, you get to know more people, being the one who is sending out the emails, telling people, yay, we're going to publish your photo, and getting the most amazing responses back. You really get to, chat to people over email even. And then, yeah, sharing it on, we've still got the hub online, and then asking for volunteers for that. So those people who volunteered, I would get to know them better. And they're still people now that I will message, whether they're local or not. And, it's just knowing you've always got these people who are willing to help and want to be involved and love what you're doing. So,
Is it hashtag this detailed life?
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I'm going to be honest, I haven't even looked at it for months. So I don't know.
Yeah, hubs take a lot of work.
The mods are still posting or not, because I did say to them, like, don't worry if it's too much. You don't need to worry about it. But I know that it's fun. That's how it started for me. It was just a hub because I wanted to do it for fun. So even before the magazine, I was running that and sharing all kinds of details. And again, another sort of project. I do always have ideas to do all the ideas, and it's like I don't have time to do all the things. So yeah, it can be a struggle sometimes when you just want to do everything and then you realize I can't do everything.
Yeah, that's where balance comes in, right?
I'm still trying to learn that one.
It sounds like you have a very good mindset, though, and I'm sure you didn't always. I'm sure there's been moments where that was challenged, but when it comes to your photography and working with clients, how do you ensure that your photography work is fulfilling and aligned with your values, especially when you're dealing with people who dealing with clients, period. Their values are different than yours, and you need to respect that. So how do you navigate that?
Well, I think it all starts with your own brand, putting your own values and everything out there as part of your branding, as part of your posting on social media. I'm always posting about stuff I love, stuff I like to do, what kind of person I am. And so it attracts people who are similar to me. So I do get clients who do have similar values. If I was getting hired by horrible people, it just would be miserable. So I don't, but that's why, I put it out there what I'm like. I'm very open and very honest when I'm posting on social media. Some of it might be quite boring, but is me. And so, horrible people are not going to be drawn to that, hopefully. So far, so good. So I think that's one way of doing it. I think of a time I've had a horrible client, to be perfectly honest. I think if I've had sort of bad vibes, I don't think I've ever actually had to do this, but I would just be like, I'm not sure we're the best fit. I need to work with people who like the creativity, they like what I do, and they want to have fun. It's very much on my website. If you work with me, we're going to have fun. You might be really nervous, but we'll have fun. So I get clients who want to have fun. So I basically just try and avoid that whole situation from the beginning. Yeah.
Well, that is very wise. It sounds like your branding, your personal branding has really helped you draw which is the whole purpose of personal branding, is to draw the clients you're looking for, not just everyone.
That's the other important thing about it that people don't often realize is that your personal brand is also to repel the wrong people. Because quite often you can be like, oh, I'm worried about saying this because some people might not like it. And it's like, well, actually, if those people don't like what I'm saying, do I really want to work with them? Probably not. So, I'll talk about my views. If they don't agree with it, they probably won't hire me, but I maybe wouldn't like working with them anyway if we don't have similar views. So, bye-bye. Get in there first.
Sounds like a plan. So
Yeah.
if you were to talk to a group of relatively new aspiring photographers that aren't in the same, they haven't overcome all those issues, they haven't overcome those imposter syndrome and the mindset of the creative. So they're struggling inside with all kinds of stuff. The chatter is loud, so to speak. What would be some of the advice that you would give them, the newer or younger in time or in age, that are looking to develop that mindset or their more thoughtful approach to their work? What advice would you give?
100% find your community. So there's so many communities online. I've mentioned a few of them. Obviously, there's mine, but it's not very active. So yeah, I would 100% be like, find the people who comment on your work, or go and people whose work you love, start commenting, see if you can start a conversation with these kind of people who you admire, and chat to them, and then you can form a little group, whether it's an Instagram loop where you support each other. Every time you post, you all sort of go and comment on each other's work, or a little Facebook or a WhatsApp chat group where you can just chat about things like, when you do get a stressful client, or a situation where you're like, oh my God, I really, really want to do this thing, but my kids just won't leave me alone. Or, anything, whether it's other mums or, people who just get it, people who do the same kind of work than you, people who do a different kind of work from you. Getting all those different, I would say you need more than one community. I've got different ones for different needs, if you like. And you just never know where these things might lead. From This Detailed Life, we had call out for guest panelists to help us choose photos for the magazines. We started doing that about 2 editions in, I think. And, sitting on Zoom, going through all the pictures with these people.
I think
You get to back panels that way. Like one of them, I ended up on holiday this year to Dubai with my family at Easter. And I knew one of these ladies who'd helped us on This Detailed Life lived in Dubai. So I was messaging her actually before we left. It was more of a, please help me. We're planning on coming on holiday, but we've realized it's Ramadan. Would you recommend we come or not come until after that? And she was like, oh no, it's absolutely fine. Everything's open these days. It won't be a problem. You can come on holiday. I was like, oh, amazing. Thank you so much for the advice. P.S. I'm coming to Dubai. Shall we meet up? So we did. And we planned on meeting up once. And we ended up meeting up 3 times. And we started a business together. So I went on holiday and came home with a business partner and a friend. And she's been someone who I messaged. I honestly, I've written a blog post about this. I felt like I'd had a holiday romance. When I got home, we were texting every day. We were on WhatsApp with ideas, and we were all excited and hyper, and just that feeling you get, obviously not love and romance, but like just that
business
excitement
energy. Yeah.
And yeah, we just clicked and hit it off straight away, hence meeting up twice more with our families. We went out for dinner with the families and the kids got together. It was just amazing. And that would have never happened had it not been for that online community.
So is that your retreat community or workshop community?
So that was from This Detailed Life, the magazine community. And then, Natalie, I started the retreat. So we both love color. We both love high energy photography, like fun and joyful, all that kind of thing. And so we're like, oh my God, I think it was me that said, would you ever fancy doing a retreat? And she's like, oh my God, yes, it's on my list. And then I went to bed. The next morning, she'd written an itinerary. She'd made a reel. She'd come up with a name, which we did then tweak, because I think the original name was color, something to do with color. I can't remember. Anyway, and it's now we eventually came up with Camera Chameleons. And just went from there. And we're so excited that we're making it happen. So it all came from having met online. You just never know where it might lead.
Very neat. Now, I know you do a class for Click Pro. I think you have 1 or 2, just one?
Yeah, just one.
So I know you're involved in that community. What's the other ones? Just mention real briefly.
So Click Pro, that was something that I did 2019 that I recommend. Just putting a portfolio together to apply is a massive creative and personal kind of achievement, and something that really makes you think about your work as well. So yeah, Click and Flock, they do still have a Facebook group, I think. And then I've got sort of, what do you call them, like arms off of these groups, where I've now got Instagram loops where we'll post together. I've got a couple of Click Pro ones. There was one I once in the Click group, I was like, oh, who else has twins? There's a few of us were twins, and we did a twin loop for a while before it got all overwhelming. And every month we would post a picture of our twins together, because it's really hard to actually get pictures of them together. So it was something to, again, it was like to inspire us to get these photos. And then This Detailed Life, we do again still have a Facebook group, so you can get in there and chat and meet other people. I think what else I've got. Well, I think again from retreats, like Heart of Home was that first retreat I did, and they had a Facebook group, so we would be chatting in there for a while. It's gone quiet now, but that's how I got to know some of them a bit more, and would then meet up again. So it's just, yeah, finding these places, or finding even just people and chatting and messaging on Instagram, I think, is mostly how I do it.
Sounds good. I know I don't know if you know this, but I work for one of my many things I do is I work for the Out of Chicago group, which is a conference, destination conference.
No, I
In
didn't
the
know that.
US. It does. Sometimes it goes out, but mostly landscape. They do floral. We did an urban one this last year where we were in Chicago, but I help with the back end, all the fun stuff in the behind scenes. But
Yeah,
what an education and what a community. So I completely understand the community is very important in this particular industry because we're all solo. Creativity is very solo,
yeah,
and it's very exhausting sometimes, really, because
yeah,
it's energy going out. So having that, network of people who share the work also share the joy of the work. So
yeah.
that ends up being a very important piece to getting through those moments of self-doubt, self-fear. And it also helps take your work up to a higher level, because every time you see work
Absolutely.
that's you're not quite there yet, and you know it, you don't know how to get there necessarily, but you get those people in your life that say, well, maybe you should try this, and you do,
Yeah,
and you're like, oh yes, thank you, you just saved
yeah,
me weeks of Photoshop classes.
exactly. And sometimes it's something so simple as well.
Yeah, that you just didn't know existed, right?
Even just the encouragement of these people, like Natalie recently, we were submitting this Click voice competition, and she's like, "Come on, you need to get your entries in. Have you done it yet?" She's like, "Come on, you need to do it." And then I was like, "Oh, I don't know which category should I put this in." And I was sending her pictures. She's like, "Oh, do this one. Oh, I like this one better." Sometimes where you just can't, you just need a little nudge, and just
Uh-huh.
having people to be like, "Help me, I don't know what to do," and they're like, "Yeah, this one." And they can just be decisive for you.
With 2 kids and a husband and several, you work for dentistry, and then you also have your business of
Yeah.
photography. So how do you maintain, or what advice would you give to others about maintaining a healthy work-life balance as a photographer?
I'm not
No,
sure mine is healthy.
well, recognizing the problem is half the battle.
No, I'm better these days. It is hard, definitely. And people say, "Oh, how'd you do it? How'd you do it?" And I was like, well, okay, so number one, dentistry, yeah. I do that 2 days a week. That is not a job I can take home with me. So I go there, I do my job, I come away. I do have to do CPD and things for that, which is never as fun as a photography conference, but it has to be done. So I do that when I have to do it, and I tick it off, job done. So that's very separate. And those are my 2 days. And then the rest of the time, I'm like, okay, I need to control myself, because I can on my laptop for hours and hours. My husband still gets annoyed about it, hence it's not fully healthy. He's like, come on. And I've tried to explain to him, and I don't think he'll ever get it. But sometimes you just are in the zone. And there's times where I really don't want to edit. I've still got photos from, months ago that I haven't edited, personal ones, obviously. I do the client ones, they have to be done. And if he's having a bit of wind, I'm like, this is for a client. I have to do this. They're paying me. It's like, oh, okay. Might not always be true, but anyway. Shh. No, it usually is. But yeah, and sometimes I'm just not in the, when I am, I'm just like, oh, I need, it's like a need. I need to do it. And I will stay up till 2 a.m. sometimes, not when I'm doing dentistry the next day, but the other days of the week. because I'm in the zone and I just want to get those things edited. Or, I've got a project or I'm making a website for the camera chameleons that I'm super excited about. And I'll stay up till 2 a.m. because I'm working on the website and I'm in the zone. So I'm not sure what my advice would be to deal with that. Because when I'm in that, when the sparks are flying, I just need to do it because otherwise it won't happen. And so I think that's then when they're not flying, I do then, and I try not to push myself because I can't do that every day. It's not sustainable, for my body. So that is probably why every so often I'm like, okay, I just need a week of reading books in bed, or, just go out and take the photos and not edit them for a while. Being in nature, definitely I love, and it does help everything, mental, mindset, all that stuff. Like last night, oh my God, I don't know what was wrong with me yesterday. I was just irritated by everything. I was really angry. I think because I was feeling overwhelmed, I had too much to do. I still had a client gallery to finish off. I had another photo shoot this morning, so I knew I was going to have a new batch to edit. So I wanted to get them finished. The kids wanted to go for a walk, but I had to get my steps in because I've been trying to be fit lately as well. God's sake, that's another thing. It's just too easy to just be sitting on the sofa all the time, editing pictures on my laptop and just eating quick things. So I've been trying to sort myself out health wise as well because I'm not fit. And trying to fit that in has been difficult. So yeah, I was like, right, I just need to, it's breaking it down and being like, okay, what needs to be done today? What do I need to prioritize? Okay, I want to get my steps in. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I'm going to go for a walk because that's going to tick off steps and I know I'm going to feel better. And I went out walking for an hour and a half. And I came back and I was a much nicer person. So, it's better for everyone to just let me go. They were gardening. It was fine. Nick was here. So it wasn't like I just left the kids. So yeah, I think that would be my advice. Really think if you're feeling overwhelmed and it's all a bit too much and you're really busy, it's like, okay, what actually needs to happen today? And is there anything that I can put off to another day? That's, I think, what I'm not always very good at it, but sometimes you just have to do it.
And learning to, what I heard you say is learning to recognize that there's moments where you have the energy to push out, and then there's moments where you need to just stop and divert yourself for a while and go out on a walk and read a book or whatever those things are for you that let you kind of just take in so you don't have.
Exactly. And that was the thing. Like, although we'd said we were going to go for a walk together, the kids had been very shouty with each other yesterday. And Nick almost said, oh, do you want to go for a walk with mummy? And by this, I already had my headphones on. I was not planning on having to deal with anybody. And I was like, mummy needs to not be with any shouty people. He said, they have been quite shouty today. I was like, yeah, bye. Because I was like, no, I need to be myself by myself. Sometimes you just, again, need to recognize actually what you need. And I knew that it would be better for all of them if they didn't come with me on the walk, because the walk would have ended up being shouty. I would have still been angry when we got home, and I wouldn't have been able to go for as long because they would have got bored, tired, fed up. So it was good. I got all my steps done. I felt better, felt refreshed. I saw squirrels and birds, and it was lovely. So yeah. And when I got back, they weren't here. They'd gone to play catch somewhere else. I was like, oh, brilliant, house to myself as well.
So it was a win-win.
It was.
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing a little more about your journey, your mindset, and how you've overcome some challenges. On the next episode, we're going to dig a little deeper into the voice of doubt and some other things that you obviously have overcome at this point. But maybe that insight and the questions will help someone in the audience. So we will be back again next week. Thank you again.
Thank you.